Hi everybody, it's August.
It is, isn't
AKA
it?
my birthday month.
Congratulations.
Woo-hoo.
That's probably the wrong way to greet. Happy birthday. That's the correct.
I mean, you could say congratulations for surviving.
We could just... And boy, what a year to survive.
I know,
yeah.
what a half a year to survive.
What a half a year to survive, yeah.
Anyway, today's video is going to be our August TBR video.
And for the first time, I'm going to have a TBR that I might actually knock out of the park. None of that pretentious, I'm going to read again kind of stuff.
In my case, I'm hoping it'll be the second time this year that I do that because, guess what? I successfully read every single book that was on my July TBR, which was unprecedented, but exciting. I literally finished...
That'll be me next month.
I literally finished 2 of the books on the very last day of July, so...
Congratulations.
I know, very excited.
That was what I was waiting, probably.
Yeah, you were
queuing
preempting
that up for. Alright.
Okay, I guess I will start first, right?
Yeah, go
okay.
for it.
So I have a total of 12 books that I'm gonna try and read. First, I have 3 Guild Hunter books. The Guild Hunter series is by Nalini Singh. It's the series that starts with a book that is about a vampire hunter who is hired by the Archangel of New York to track down, let's just say, a rogue vampire-ish. It sort of goes from there.
Oh, this is the Vampire and Angels kind of
so I can't really...
Angel Dust Pheromone book.
Yes. So I can't really tell you much about the books where I'm at because I try not to look up the ones I haven't read yet, but I am reading 3. I'm reading Archangel's Storm, Archangel's Legion, and Archangel's Shadow. So there's 3 this month instead of the usual 2.
Cool.
I will also be reading 2 books with Rachel from Hello Chelly for our Friends with Arcs feature. We're reading Garth Nix's upcoming book, The Left-Handed Booksellers of London.
That's awesome.
Which books, Magic London. All good.
Done.
And then we're reading Shine, which is by Jessica Jung, and that is a book about a girl, I'm pretty sure, who gets involved in the, you know, K-pop girl groups, which is interesting because Jessica Jung was part of Girls' Generation.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes. And then the last book that I want to mention that's digital that I don't actually own a physical copy of is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett, which is a book that has been talked about a lot all over the online book community. I'm reading that one with my sisters Mel and Rachel and my cousin Carmela for our book club. The Vanishing Half is the story of twin siblings. They're both black, but one of them is white passing. And so the one who's white passing kind of pretends that her past never happened, and so she's made this whole new life for herself. So I'm interested to see how that dynamic works out because it does sound pretty complicated, and it'll definitely be one that's interesting to discuss with the others. Alright, your turn for your exciting TBR that you might complete.
Might actually complete because all these are digital and are continuing the entire series that I'm sort of watching. So well, not watching, but reading. I started reading DC Trinity, which is the Trinity Rebirth, and Trinity is usually associated with, of course, the big 3, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. I've been telling myself to remind myself that if we have future children, to not name them Bruce, Clark, and Diana, because I could try. Not that it's gonna happen, but maybe, who knows, on a random...
Diana was definitely a short list.
Diana was definitely on the short list of future children that we might want to have. But I just love sort of like the combination of these 3. And so I've started Trinity Volume 2, I want to say. That's definitely going to be on the TBR pile too. It's more like to be finished. So you've heard me talk about the Buffy reboot and the Angel reboot and how vastly different they are from the original, to the point where I feel like, and this is just me as a fan of the old incredibly problematic series, to a point, it may lose some of the core heart elements that I find make Buffy and make Angel sort of Angel, with the exception of, you know, some elements from Angel himself where it kind of starts out pretty cool and it's a little closer to the whole demon with a cause kind of, you know, kind of thing. So I have Buffy Reboot 3 and Angel Reboot 2, Volumes 2, sort of primed, and Hellmouth, which is the crossover, big,
I like how
major
already a crossover.
Exactly, because that everything is starting and so many characters that would have come on organic throughout the seasons are just suddenly there. It suddenly just made sense to, alright, bring them all together. Hellmouth's opening again. There's some new crazy awesome lore that they're trying to sort of, well, not so much lore as it is history, like alternate universe history. So this is an AU, 100%. Do I recommend it to hardcore fans? Only the ones that can stand AUs in Elseworlds, because this is not your, you know, this is not your 90s Buffy and Angel. This is not. Like, I just, that's out the window and gone, like literally in the first couple of like issues. So there's that. Lastly, and much to my vast enjoyment, The Old Guard is what I'm reading. So I had just had the privilege of watching it last night. I say it's a privilege because it's so good. It's one of the few graphic novel to movie translations that I find are not just like faithful, but I feel bring the experience to a higher level that to me personally, again, not to everybody else, takes nothing away from the original text, which is already great, and majority of the movie with Charlize Theron or whatever is based on the actual text of the book, of the graphic novel. To me, the movie was better. Oh my gosh, it just takes it to a whole. It's a rarity that I'm like, it's better not because the book sucks, but it's better because it takes everything you love about the book and sort of hikes it up a couple of notches.
Gotcha.
And your experience of seeing all of this stuff live action with really good actors too, mind you. Charlize Theron brings her A game for this thing. It's just so bloody beautiful. So I'm reading Old Guard, like the first like omnibus sort of volume. I don't know if it covers the entire Old Guard series or if it's just the first 6. I do know that Netflix is going to publish like a second movie and maybe a third. I think there's going to be a trilogy in the works. And whether or not that covers every graphic novel / comic book issue out there, I do not know as of yet. But you can be assured I will read everything that is out on Old Guard, regardless of what. So my TBR is anything Old Guard, really. Just if I haven't bought them yet, I will clickety-click, and it's gonna be. Did I say clickety-click?
Yes, you did.
I totally did. My vernacular spans decades, apparently. Like I will say groovy and swell in the same breath as yeet, because that's just me, apparently. Whatever, makes you feel immortal. Whatever. So that's pretty much that.
Cool. Okay, I have 6 more books to talk about.
All right.
First, I'm continuing my reread of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants series, so I'll be reading Girl in Pants, which is the 3rd book in the series. I actually can't remember specifically what events take place in this book, because I do know what happens in the rest of the series, but I can't remember if it's in book 3 or book 4, so I guess we're gonna find out. I've been reading these with my friends Rachel from Hello Chelly and Kristen from Super Space Chick, and it's been really illuminating. The things that I totally loved as a teenager, definitely as an adult, I'm kind of like, about that. That's a little questionable. But it has been really fun to revisit, and there are some things about the series that still kind of really are appealing to me as an adult reader. So I'm excited to revisit this one. I've actually started this book already, but I am excited to be continuing the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. I will be reading The Great Hunt, which is the 2nd book in the series. I really, really love The Eye of the World. I thought it was a great first book to a series. It sets up the story really well for the reader, whether it's the characters, the setting, the plot. I'm looking forward to seeing how things play out after the events at the end of the first book, and I really want to keep just following these characters because I enjoy them so much. So I've only read the prologue so far, but I am very confident that I will finish this month. I am also starting today Legacy, which is the 8th book in the Keeper of the Lost City series.
Notice the cackling? Thank you. For anybody else who's read it, you know what.
I really want to read this because I really had a fun time reading Flashback. Like, it's not my favorite book in the series, but it was entertaining to read it, and I'm sure Maki was equally entertained to hear me screech about it. Which will probably happen with Legacy. And I'm also excited because Maki has said that this is probably the book he enjoyed the most in the series, which I'm very curious about why. I have very petty reasons for like me, and by petty I mean they're not esoteric, like oh plot development and ooh character like development or wow what an amazing twist. None of that is the reason why I love this so much. And for those of you who let's just talk about it in the comments, like away from when Alexis finally read it. Yeah, we'll definitely know spoilers. Anyway, Keeper of the Lost Cities, we've already talked about it a billion times, but just in case you didn't know, it's about Sophie Foster, who discovers in the very first book that she's actually an elf. And so she gets whisked away to the world of the elves, where she sort of has to learn to acclimatize herself to that, but then discovers that even among the elves, she's very special for various reasons, and you find that out as the series progresses, and I'm very much curious to see where this book goes. Last, but certainly not least, Maki always gets to pick the book that I read, or the series that I read during my birthday month. So last year he picked, I'm pretty sure he picked Kushiel, right? You picked the first trilogy.
Yeah, I did.
And of course, because he's a sucker, I told him he could only pick 2 books, and he did pick 2. But then I was like, why would I just leave the last one out? Because that doesn't make any sense. So I'm reading all 3 books in the Becca Cooper trilogy by Tamara Pierce, which starts with, they're not even in order.
It starts with Blood
Terrier, right? And then Bloodhound, And then they're so shiny and mastiff.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell them what it's about since you have read it?
So for those of you who know the Tamara Pierce series, The Song of the Lioness, there is a character in Song of the Lioness called George Cooper, who is a mysterious character and then suddenly rises up the ranks to become the king of rogues, or the king of the court of the rogue, where he's basically the dude, the main sort of like, you know, like thief king extraordinaire type deal, which is super ironic because in his actual lineage, if you could trace it all the way back down, he's actually related to Rebecca Cooper, who was one of the greatest law enforcers of Tortal. So
interesting how far the apple is falling.
We all the other way to the other side of the law. And Becca has, I know it's her full name is Rebecca, but her nickname is Becca.
Yeah, her nickname is Becca.
It just basically chronicles her journey as a rookie cop, or what passes for cops in this medieval sort of world of Tortal, and how she ends up sort of making a name for herself as literally the best law woman this side of like the known universe.
So ironic.
And it's super compelling, this entire series. If you like it, it's told from her journals.
Oh, I love that.
And there's an opening from Eleni Cooper, George's mom, about, like, I think she's writing to George or some such. Not too much of a spoiler. But can you imagine what that letter is going to look like? It's like, I know you a thief, but don't forget that, you know, we come from like provost stock. And then you get to see what kind of cool, sort of awesome character she is.
So I'm really excited to get to it. This is one of the only Tamara Pierce series I haven't actually read, so... Actually, it is the only Tamara Pierce series left that I haven't read.
For reference, she's a little bit like most of Tamara Pierce's warrior women. She's a little more on the stoic side because she's a cop. It just, like, not that, you know, there aren't any other cops in the story that are a little more personable or whatever. It's just, that's just her build. She's just really, and when she, again, hence Blood the Terrier, because the minute she bites onto something, locks onto a scent, she's definitely gonna hunt and make sure it's there. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So there you have it. That is our August TBR. It's a little ambitious, but not overly ambitious. So hopefully we can both be able to say that we completed our TBRs at the end of the month.
Watch me buddy read this whole thing with Alexa. Just watch me.
It's gonna be great. Anyway, we'd love to know what you guys are reading, of course. And if you have read or you're interested in reading any of the things that we are reading this month, do let us know in the comments. We love you all. We will see you guys in our new video soon. Bye!